the big thing that's kind of like gonna kill a beginner's want to play this guitar. Oh God. That's not to say that every one of these kits is gonna be the same, but it's something to look out for. Okay, that's cool. It's like a solid B. Why, hello there. And hello to you in camera, technically 1. I started on 2 today, I threw you off. What are we doing today? Well, my buddies over at Strich have given the Electric Flamingo channel a first in the form of a kit guitar. So we have a bunch of different pieces of wood and metal and maybe a couple of electronics in there for my first ever kit build. So thank you very much, Strich, for sponsoring this video by sending this out. There are links in the description if you want to pick one of these up for yourself. They have a couple of different styles, S-types, T-types, the one that's in this box, an LP type, because naturally. And then everybody's favorite, the Burning Fire model. We like the Burning Fire, right? So let's do what I do to your mom every weekend and bust open this box. So this is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, that video being a kit build. My only experience with trying to get a kit sponsor for the channel was with a really shady company called Pango Music, which is kind of a shame though, because if you look at their website, they make a lot of really cool shapes, but I don't recommend them. They're just very weird to work with. But Strich, they're awesome to work with, and they were like, yeah, we have kit guitars, and we would love to send you one. So naturally, I said yes. So what do we got here? Little square box, rectangle box. It's a rectangle. What am I talking about? So this is the SLP D30, right there. So this is the user manual, I guess, to tell you how to put everything together, but for the most part, I know how to assemble a guitar. For the most part. So we have our bag of, multiple bags here. So yeah, it looks like all your parts, your posts, maybe your pickups, your bridge, all that kind of stuff. You get a string winder. That's kind of cool. And then, a tool that I can use for later. Like a little socket wrench type deal. Awesome. And then you get one of my favorite tools too, the big L shape, like the elongated Allen key there, and a cable. And then it looks like we have the body right here. So like Les Paul Special type deal. It is a bolt-on. But let's see, the routing on everything looks pretty good. Yeah, there are no weird route faults or anything. The back routing looks good. The back cavity for the controls looks good. Yeah. Smells of wood, as you would expect. The one thing that I really like about this kit is that the neck, specifically the headstock, is already cut to a shape. It's not like the big paddle headstock that you see on a lot of guitars. So there is our neck right there. And there's our headstock, kind of a generic shape, but it's all right. It is all good. This fretboard is dry as the dickens, but that's okay. We'll address that. Oh, and it's got a big old fat neck too. Oh yeah, it's like a 50s style neck. That's awesome. Cool. All right, so like pre-drilled holes for the tuners and everything. That's cool. Your truss rod cover's got the pre-drilled holes there. It's an Allen key adjustment there. So you're gonna put it together, obviously, like so. And there's your guitar. I am so excited about this. I want to try to come up with a design for it and get it painted and everything. Because, yeah, that's cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and start diving into this. Is there anything else in the box? I don't think so. So yeah, let's go ahead and start diving into this. I may actually go ahead and address the neck here as far as it being dry and everything. But no fret sprout. Wow, yeah, I didn't even talk about that. No fret sprout. So that's cool. The neck does have, on the binding there, a little flaw, but that's okay. That is all good. Scarf joint on there, yeah. Cool. I'm assuming it's mahogany body, maple neck, so that makes for an interesting combination already. Awesome. Yeah, let's go ahead and start doing some stuff here. I'll maybe jump around. I don't know, but let's actually address the neck first. This is so weird just seeing a neck on my little thing here. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead, polish up these frets a little bit. They do look a little dull, as I expect. So we're just gonna do the old steel wool treatment here and get them nice and shiny. All right, gave those a good polish. Now, yeah, they look and feel so much better. All right, so I moved my light over a little bit more just so maybe you could see a little bit better, but that fretboard oiled up super nice. Yeah, it drank that lemon oil. It was thirsty, but this neck is practically ready to go. All right, so we got the body up here now. I think we're gonna go ahead and just mount the neck to the body, just to go ahead and have the one solid unit to work with, if that makes sense. So you would put it, you know, like that, and then just kind of line these up like this. It's always good to document these things because we're gonna see if the pre-drilled holes actually all line up. So let me get a screwdriver going to get these nice and screwed in there. All right, cool. So yeah, everything's screwed straight in there. And now we have something that resembles more of a guitar there. Awesome. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, why are you putting it together without, you know, finishing it and everything, like painting it or staining it? I think I'm gonna stain it. But I don't know what color yet, and I kind of just want to throw it all together because things like, you know, the posts and everything down here and the tuners, you can take all that stuff back off to actually finish it. You can take the neck off with it being bolt-on, so it'll be relatively easy to take this thing apart to paint it or stain it or whatever I decide to do with it. I'm probably going to stain it. Maybe leave me some comments and tell me what color I should do. I'm thinking something kind of, I don't know. Leave me some comments. Might go shop for some stain at some point. All right, let's go ahead and put on the tuners and the truss rod cover because they're all kind of in the same bag. Now, these tuners, I can't promise are gonna be anything super duper special. And as a matter of fact, I do have some tuners that are probably better than these, I won't lie. But, oh God. Oh yeah, these, I can tell you right now that these tuners are not going to be great. So I'm trying to think. I think I might put the other tuners that I have, if they'll fit, on here. If not, we're going to go with these just to showcase. You know what? No, we're going to do that. I'm going to put these tuners on there. I'm going to use all of the original parts because that's the point, right? That's the point, is to showcase how this kit functions. All right, so if you watch any of my other upgrade videos where we're specifically changing tuners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They gave us some extra screws. Oh wait, that's for the truss rod cover. There are no extra screws there. Anyway, what was I saying? So if you've seen any of my other upgrade videos where I change out tuners specifically, I will tell you to tighten these down first to make sure everything's lined up. Now, realistically, that's going to be more for if you're having to actually drill your holes in the back for these little parts on the back of the post here. But since these are already pre-drilled, what I would do is I would leave them where they're kind of loosey-goosey and then go ahead and line all this up, because then you can just tighten these in the front and you'll be good to go, right? So, screwdriver time. So there we go. So now we have our tuners nice and secured on there. We can flip it back over and we can tighten these up right here. And I always recommend this right here. You can get this little tool from Music Nomad, and you can literally just go in there like that. And there we go. Our headstock is pretty much done there. All right, so I am back. It is the next day, as you can tell from my outfit change, and we're gonna go ahead and start working on the body. Now, a couple of things I just wanted to note. First, this looks like it's a two-piece body, and you can see the join right along here, maybe. You can see it in the camera, and then I can see it right here on the horn. So basically like this lower part of the horn, all the way over where the controls would go, that's one piece, and then everything else looks like it is one big piece. So a two-piece body, that's not bad for a guitar in this price range. Now you can see that I've already put one of the bushings down here for the tailpiece on this side. I started to put this one in here, but then I remembered something. There's a ground wire that essentially touches that bushing there, and that's your bridge ground. So I'm glad I thought of that before I put the bushing in all the way. So what I had to do is I had to take some needle nose pliers and pull that back up. It wasn't in very far. I just needed to get a good grip on it to pull it up. And I have put a little mark in the wood right here, which means that this is relict. It is worth about 6 times as much as what it stands brand new. So if you're in the market for a relic guitar, let me know. Just real quick, the tailpiece and the bridge, they both look like they're pretty good parts. They got some weight to it. They don't feel light or cheap. They feel, again, kind of like Epiphone quality, something like that. And then some other parts that we got. So we have some black, they look like they are speed knobs. And then we have all of our electronics. All of these electronics are quick connect. So that means that you don't have to solder anything. So if you don't know what a quick connect system is, it's literally where you just, it's like a little red piece and you just plug them up. So instead of the wiring, let's take a look at the pickups. So the pickups even, okay, that's cool. The pickups even already come with the rings around them. But that is a quick connect, right? That little red piece. I'm not sure why that wire is hanging out there. It looks like it may have broken off. So those are the perils of that. I promise we're going to put some stuff in here. Your bundle of wires with all of your quick connect stuff to it. There's your output jack. So we're actually going to try to put these wires in here. I just wanted to do like a quick rundown of all of the parts. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and try to put all of this into the guitar and get it situated. All right, so I have these a little bit untangled here, and I just want to show you. So the pots that you're getting are little dime-sized pots. Not that the shape or the size really is the biggest defining factor of quality, but they are going to be relatively affordable pots. So there we go. So now we have our jack. We have our pots there for one of the pickups. We have our switch right there. So we're going to go ahead and put the pots in here first. So you're going to want to push your pot through the body. Put a washer. Put a nut. Tighten it down by hand. So you now have 2 pots installed there. Same exact thing for the other 2. So we're going to do that real quick. There we go. Looking good. All right, so now we're going to take our bridge ground wire. Again, it's this piece right here with the exposed metal on it. It's not soldered or anything, as it should not be, so that's good. And what we're going to do, I'm actually going to try to show you real quick here. So as you may be able to see, there is a hole right there behind this wire and right by that pot. That leads to the hole that is right there where that bushing goes, what I was talking about earlier. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to feed this wire, and you have to be careful because of the tip. So what I would recommend doing is maybe twisting this tip a little bit through that hole and bring it out the other side in that bushing hole. All right, so we have the ground wire for that bushing there jetted out here. I'm going to leave it sticking out kind of dramatic like that just so I don't have to keep wrestling it back through the body. But we're going to go ahead and put the output jack through there now. So you literally just put it through this big old hole right here. So you're probably gonna have to wrestle with it a little bit to get it in there. There we go. And then you should have a little bag of 4 screws. So we're going to now, since we got the pots in here, let's go ahead and put the switch in there. Now this one's going to be interesting because we have 3 different wires that we have to run through one relatively small hole. This is typically the bane of my existence. Something that you want to do too is before you tighten this down up here, which I'll talk to you about again in a minute, is just make sure that it is orientated correctly. So whenever you flip it up, it's the neck, down the bridge, that kind of thing. Let me move the camera over here so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so there is the hole. You may or may not be able to see it right there that we're going to be running these wires through for our switch. While the switch is in there, I'm actually going to go ahead and put our washer and poker chip on there. I'm not going to tighten it down super tight. And again, I'm going to keep it kind of loosey-goosey because right now it's not even orientated correctly. Again, these wires through this hole here, and then one more time run the wires through this hole here to the control cavity. I'm having a fun time getting the yellow one through there. Alright, so I have the wires connected appropriately. So at this point it literally is just color matching. So what you want to know is that when you are connecting the wires from the switch up here, you're connecting them to the soldered wires on the middle post of the pot. So if you look at the pot, there are 3 different posts. The one that's in the middle that is also connected to the back of the pot is the one that you want to connect these to. The black one from the switch connects to the output jack. This is where it gets a little convoluted. Once you start putting the pickup wires in here and stuff, it gets rather congested in there, but I always like to try to run the wire through. I'm going to do that off camera because it's probably going to take a minute, but that's what you want to do next, is you want to run the wires through, for the pickups, through this cavity into the back, or through this hole into the back cavity. The thicker one, if you look, you're going to notice 2 things. You're going to notice one of them is thicker, and that is the red one. So the red one is actually the bridge. The thicker one's going to be the bridge, and then the thinner one's going to be the neck. Now you'll see that they are actually like slanted. So this side is thicker, and as it goes down this way, it gets thinner. Same thing over here. It's thick right there, and then as it goes down that way, it's thinner. The thinner part goes up the body. So that means, in this case, the red is going to be the bridge, and the yellow is going to be the neck. Alright, so I have the pickups screwed into the body, and then I also have them connected. I have the switch in a semi-straight orientation, but that will be the bridge, that will be the neck, as it's supposed to be. I did go ahead and use the included tool here to tighten down the screws on the pots, so they are all good to go. We can go ahead and put the knobs on there. So now what we're going to go ahead and do too is we're going to go ahead and put these little bushings in here. So I'm going to show you the best way to do this, because I don't have, well, I have a rubber mallet, but much like everything in my garage, it just grows legs and disappears. So you can take a regular hammer and just, what I like to do is put just a cloth over the top of it, and you just want to kind of tap them in there. Now there is a way that if you needed to ever get these bushings out of here, you can do that. What you would do is you would drop a little screw in there, and then just take the post and you would screw it in there, and as you screw it in there, it would catch that screw and it would pull the bushing out. So if you ever need to get it out of there, if you were changing the tailpiece or anything like that, that's how you would do that. So now we're going to go ahead and address this post right here with this bushing and this ground wire. So essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to get this wire to where it's in the hole, kind of touching the side of the bushing. Perfect. So now we have pretty much the entirety of the bare wire in there. So we can literally just go ahead and put that over that. To me, that's the part that always trips me up. I hate doing that part when you have a bridge ground like that. And then we should be able to put our bridge on just like that. Now, look, I'm probably not going to use the strings that they gave with this. I'm just telling you right now. I'll put some different strings on it, and then we'll give this thing a whirl. All right, so as I mentioned, we are pretty much ready to get this thing strung up, kind of give it a setup, and see what it sounds like. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bridge and tail piece on there like that. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put the strings on this thing, and like I said, I'll get it set up really quickly, and I'll fill you in on how this thing sets up. If you want to learn how to set up a guitar, go ahead and just check out my channel. I've got a couple of videos showing you how to set up guitars, either like this, or Strat style, or short scale, or ones with Floyd Roses. I kind of covered all my bases here, except for setting up a bass. I should really do that at some point too. But unless anything crazy happens during the setup of this, I'm pretty much just going to skip to the point where we start playing it. So let me get it strung up, and I'll be right back to you guys. All right, so the Strich LP Guitar Kit put together, ready to play, or is it? So let's talk pros about it first, because we have pros and cons, obviously, out of this guitar kit. So first and foremost, all the parts were there, so that's good. All the parts were there, all the screws, the tools, everything. Everything that comes in that box is, you can use it straight away to get this guitar put together. I did a couple of extra things like polish the frets a little bit, put some lemon oil on the fretboard just to kind of, you know, give it a little bit of nourishment and make it look a little bit better. But again, all of the parts are there. It feels good. That's another pro, right? It feels great. So it's like I said earlier in the video, and I've said before, if the bones are good, that's usually a pretty good sign. Because you can change parts on the guitar, right? You can change the bridge, you can change the tuners, you can change the pickups, the switches, the knobs, all of that. In this case, you can change the neck if you really wanted to, but again, the body, it's in really good shape, you know, as it should be. It's brand new, but you know what I mean. The neck feels really good. It's a nice little satiny kind of finish there. It's got, you know, comfy profile on it for me. It's a little bit on the thicker side, so keep that in mind. I really like the headstock shape. It looks like they kind of went like Gibson-esque, as you would kind of expect. but they didn't do like the open book. I really like this like default headstock design. It looks really cool. And again, it's kind of like a smaller, it's almost like a Melody Maker headstock where it's really skinny, which is a good thing, as I mentioned before, because the string pull through the nut is straighter than if you went with like a traditional Les Paul style or Epiphone style headstock shape where it's wider. So, cons. Not all the parts worked. What do I mean by that? Well, you may have noticed in the demo that I was only playing on the bridge pickup. Still going out of tune, the strings are still fresh on it, so I'm going to forgive it for that. But the bridge pickup works. Sounds great, fine, whatever. Go to the neck pickup. There's barely something there, but I already know why the neck pickup does not work. So when I was taking the pickups out of the bag, I don't even know if I said this in the video, but on the quick connect, one of the wires was out of the quick connect. So this pickup already doesn't function. It can be fixed, but a beginner putting this together, relying on that quick connect, they're not gonna have a neck pickup. Another pro, I will say, the pots, their taper, pretty decent. So here's kind of a gainy sound. You're probably just hearing it through camera audio and all that stuff, but right? So it's not 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and then 2 as you turn it down. It's pretty, the taper on them is pretty good. And I always look for something like that, especially in cheaper guitars. The tone knob, kind of the same story, so we're back at 10 on the volume. So again, the pots, they taper off pretty well. I can only imagine that the other 2 pots for the neck pickup do as well. But, you know, hey. The tuners are another weak point. And again, I'm not trying to rag on this too hard because it is a budget beginners kind of kit thing. But the tuners are not great. They could be better. It's going out of tune, and I'm giving it the fact that the strings have only been on this guitar for maybe a total of 5 minutes as I'm filming this part. But they do keep going out of tune, and I've had other guitars with the string stretched, you know, go back and tune better. Yeah, so they're just going out of tune a little bit. Now, because I don't know how much time I had on my other camera, it started to overheat. I'm just gonna finish up the video here. The big thing that's kind of like gonna kill a beginner's want to play this guitar. It's a very simple fix, and it's something that I think that they maybe just didn't catch. But I think it's detrimental to a beginner if it's overlooked. And that is the nut. The nut on this is cut well for the strings to rest in, but it's too high, right? So the action on this guitar, terrible right now. And I don't think I can do anything else about it until I address that nut. The bridge is maxed out all the way down. The truss rod, I pretty much maxed it out and straightened out the neck. It does work, and the neck is like dead straight. But the action is still, I don't even know if you can see that or not. The action is still very high on this. And if you look at the first fret, you can tell that it's the nut, right? It's not the neck is warped. The neck is straight as an arrow. The bridge down here adjusts fine and is down really low. In fact, it's down all the way to the body. It's just that nut is cut too high. That's not to say that every one of these kits is going to be the same, but it's something to look out for. So overall, judging this thing as a whole, it's like a solid B, right? It's a passing grade. It's not like groundbreaking or anything that's like tremendous or anything, but again, the neck and the body are great. All in all, you did put together a really good guitar kit. So I can recommend it. Just keep those things in mind when you go to buy one. There is a link in the description for you to go check out. Highly recommend you do that. They do got a bunch of other great stuff over there if you want to check out other products by Strich. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey. It was a great time making it. Hope to see you guys in another video. Make sure you subscribe so you know when other videos come out. Check the link in the description. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.